In the Coliseum of modern life, the noise is deafening, a relentless barrage of opinions, notifications, demands, and distractions. A world that equates loudness with strength, reaction with power, and busyness with purpose. Most people are losing themselves in this storm. They are shouting to be heard over the din, exhausting themselves in battles that were never theirs to fight, scattering their energy in 1,000 different directions, and wondering why they feel so empty, so drained, so far from the victory they were promised. But what if everything you've been taught about strength is wrong? What if true power isn't found in the shout, but in the whisper? Not in the reaction, but in the response, not in the scattered chase, but in the focused pursuit. They called it Stoicism, and it offers us a path not just to survive the chaos, but to transcend it entirely. To become a force of nature, calm, focused, and utterly unstoppable. This is not a philosophy of passive acceptance. It is a philosophy of profound, active mastery, mastery of self, mastery of perception, and ultimately, mastery of your destiny. This journey is built on 3 fundamental pillars. 3 principles that, when woven together, form an unbreakable code for living. 1. The power of strategic silence. 2. The art of unbreakable focus. 3. The path to inevitable victory. This is not a quick fix. This is a deep reconstruction. We will dismantle the faulty programming of the modern world and install the timeless code of the Stoic. We will explore the neuroscience behind these principles, the psychology of distraction, and the practical, daily exercises that will rewire your habits and your mind. By the end of this masterclass, you will possess a new lens through which to see the world. You will have a toolkit of strategies to protect your energy, sharpen your mind, and channel your actions toward a life of purpose and impact. You will learn that the most powerful person in the room is often the quietest. The most productive person is often the most still, and the most victorious person is the one who has already won the battle within themselves long before any external result appears. This is your invitation to step out of the storm and into your own unshakable center, to trade reactivity for response, scatteredness for concentration, and fleeting validation for lasting, authentic victory. Your journey to becoming unstoppable begins now. Let's begin with the most misunderstood of the 3 pillars, silence. When we think of silence, we often think of emptiness, of absence, of nothingness. We equate it with shyness, weakness, or having nothing to say. This is perhaps the greatest misconception about personal power. The Stoics understood something radical. Silence is not empty, it is profoundly full. It is a space teeming with potential energy, like a drawn bowstring or a compressed spring. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who guided the empire through war, plague, and constant political intrigue, wrote in his private journal, Meditations, "The best answer to anger is silence." He didn't mean to ignore threats. He meant that by refusing to engage in the emotional frenzy of others, you retain all your power. You are not swept away by their current. You become the rock in their river. This is what we mean by strategic silence. It is not the silence of the sheep. It is the silence of the wolf who chooses not to howl. It is a conscious, deliberate, and powerful choice to conserve your most precious resource, your mental and emotional energy. Every time you speak, you expend energy. Every time you react, you expend energy. Every time you feel compelled to defend, explain, or justify your position to someone who isn't listening, you are pouring your finite life force into a bottomless well. Strategic silence is the practice of plugging that leak. It is the discipline of asking yourself before you engage. Is this necessary? Is this useful? Does this serve my highest purpose, or am I merely serving my ego? The modern world is designed to provoke a reaction from you. Outrageous headlines, social media drama, office politics, and petty conflicts are all hooks baited with your ego. They want you to bite. They want you to spend your energy on their terms. When you choose silence, you cut the line. You declare that your energy is sovereign territory, and you alone decide who and what gets access to it. The neuroscience of silence studies using fMRI scanners show that periods of silence are associated with the activation of the brain's DMN. This is the network responsible for introspection, self-awareness, and consolidating memories. It's where we make sense of our experiences. Constant noise and stimulation suppress the DMN. Silence, therefore, is not a passive state but an active one, crucial for integration, learning, and strategic thinking. It literally allows your brain to process information on a deeper level and form more sophisticated plans. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, born a slave, put it bluntly: "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening is an act of receiving information. Talking is an act of expending it." The strategic mind is always in receiving mode until the moment it is absolutely necessary to transmit. If I could grant you one superpower, it would not be super strength or invisibility. It would be the ability to see the invisible strings of energy that connect you to the world. You would see how a 30-second argument with a stranger online drains a measurable amount of your focus for the next hour. You would see how worrying about a comment your coworker made siphons energy from the project that could change your career. You would see how compulsively checking the news creates a low-grade anxiety that pollutes your entire mental environment. You are constantly engaged in an economy of attention. Your focus, your calm, your emotional stability, this is your capital. And every day, countless entities, corporations, apps, individuals are trying to extract that capital from you, often for free. Your silence is your first and most powerful line of defense in this economy. It is the vault where you store your capital. Most people are bankrupt in this economy. They wake up and immediately give their attention away to their phone. They commute and give their attention to talk radio or podcasts filled with problems they can't solve. They go to work and give their attention to gossip and complaints. They come home and give their attention to television shows filled with drama. They go to bed exhausted, wondering where their day, their energy, and their life went. They are hemorrhaging attention and wondering why they feel anemic. The Stoic practice is to become a ruthless investor of your attention. You must ask of every interaction, every piece of content, every conversation, what is the return on investment? ROI on my attention here. Are scrolling social media for 20 minutes ROI? Likely negative. You gain a fleeting hit of dopamine but lose focus, invite comparison, and often absorb negativity. Arguing with the internet troll, ROI, catastrophically negative. You expend immense emotional energy for zero gain. Listening patiently to a problem you can actually help solve, ROI, potentially high. You build a relationship and solve a problem. Spending 20 minutes in silent planning for your week, ROI, extremely high. You gain clarity and direction, saving you hours of wasted effort. Your first practice starting today is to become aware of your impulse to speak. Before you respond to a provocation, before you jump into a debate, before you offer an unsolicited opinion, pause. In that pause, in that moment of silence, lies all your power. That is the space where you transition from a reactive animal to a responsive human being. In the next chapter, we will delve into the practical application of this silence, how to guard your energy like the precious currency it is. If I could grant you one superpower, it would not be super strength or invisibility. It would be the ability to see the invisible strings of energy that connect you to the world. You would see how a 30-second argument with a stranger online drains a measurable amount of your focus for the next hour. You would see how worrying about a comment your coworker made siphons energy from the project that could change your career. You would see how compulsively checking the news creates a low-grade anxiety that pollutes your entire mental environment. You are constantly engaged in an economy of attention. Your focus, your calm, your emotional stability, this is your capital. And every day, countless entities, corporations, apps, individuals are trying to extract that capital from you, often for free. Your silence is your first and most powerful line of defense in this economy. It is the vault where you store your capital. Most people are bankrupt in this economy. They wake up and immediately give their attention away to their phone. They commute and give their attention to talk radio or podcasts filled with problems they can't solve. They go to work and give their attention to gossip and complaints. They come home and give their attention to television shows filled with drama. They go to bed exhausted, wondering where their day, their energy, and their life went. They are hemorrhaging attention and wondering why they feel anemic. The Stoic practice is to become a ruthless investor of your attention. You must audit your mental expenditures. You must ask of every interaction, every piece of content, every conversation, what is the return on investment, ROI, on my attention here? Scrolling social media for 20 minutes, ROI, likely negative. You gain a fleeting hit of dopamine but lose focus, invite comparison, and often absorb negativity. Arguing with an internet troll, ROI, catastrophically negative. You expend immense emotional energy for zero gain. Listening patiently to a problem you can actually help solve, ROI, potentially high. You build a relationship and solve a problem. Spending 20 minutes in silent planning for your week, ROI, extremely high. You gain clarity and direction, saving you hours of wasted effort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." We waste our energy on tomorrow's anxieties and yesterday's regrets, leaving nothing for the present moment where life actually happens. Silence is the practice of pulling your attention back from the past and future and investing it squarely in the now, where you have agency. Practical exercise, the attention audit. For the next 72 hours, I want you to carry a small notebook or use a notes app on your phone every hour. Briefly jot down. 1. What was the primary consumer of my attention for the past hour? EDG, work, task, social media, worry, conversation. 2. What was the emotional cost or gain? Did it drain me or energize me? 3. What was the practical ROI? Did this move my life forward in any tangible way? Do not judge yourself during this audit. Simply observe. You are a scientist collecting data on your own mind. After 3 days, patterns will emerge. You will see the leaks in your vault. You will identify the energy vampires in your life. This awareness is the first and most critical step toward plugging them. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that is when you begin to guard your energy with the ferocity of a lion guarding its cubs. You will start to say, no, not out of rudeness, but out of respect for your own potential. You will create boundaries not as walls to keep people out, but as fences to protect the sacred garden within you where your goals and dreams are growing. Your silent, guarded energy is what you will use to build your future. In the next section, we will take that preserved energy and learn how to weld it into a laser beam, the power of unbreakable focus. You have successfully begun to guard your energy through strategic silence. You have built a reserve of power. Now, what will you do with it? The default for most people is to diffuse it, to spray it like a hose in 100 different directions, dampening the surface of many things but penetrating nothing. This is the curse of multitasking. Neuroscience has proven conclusively that what we call multitasking is a myth. The brain cannot focus on 2 cognitive tasks simultaneously. Instead, it engages in task switching, jumping rapidly from one thing to another. Each switch comes with a cognitive cost, a switch cost, which drains your glucose, your brain's fuel, and dramatically increases the likelihood of errors. It makes you feel busy while making you profoundly inefficient. The Stoics were masters of monotasking, the deep, immersive focus on a single thing. They called this enkratia, self-mastery or self-control, which is the ability to direct your attention at will and hold it there. Seneca, the famed Stoic playwright and advisor, wrote in his letters, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness." While profound, this also hints at a deeper principle. Wherever you direct your focus, there is an opportunity for impact. But if your focus is everywhere, your impact is nowhere. Your energy, once guarded by silence, is like raw iron. Focus is the process of forging that iron into a sharp, unstoppable spear. A spear can only have one point. You cannot have a spear with 100 points and expect it to penetrate anything. This is the power of the one thing. As the Stoic author and modern-day interpreter of these principles, Ryan Holiday emphasizes, you must constantly ask, what is the one thing I can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or necessary? This question is a weapon against distraction. It forces prioritization. It is the difference between being a writer who checks emails, attends meetings, and occasionally writes, and a writer who writes for 3 uninterrupted hours first thing every morning. The latter becomes an author. The former becomes a busy person who wishes they could write a book. Practical exercise, the 90-minute deep work block. Your mission is to institute at least one 90-minute block of uninterrupted, focused work into your day. This is non-negotiable. Schedule it, put it in your calendar like a crucial meeting with your future self. Eliminate distractions, phone on airplane mode, and in another room, browser tabs closed, door closed if possible. Define the single task. Before the block begins, know exactly what you will work on. Not work on project, but write the introduction to chapter 3 or complete the financial model for Q3. Work do nothing but that single task for the full 90 minutes. It will be difficult at first. Your mind, addicted to distraction, will rebel. It will itch for the dopamine hit of a notification. This is where your Stoic training kicks in. Acknowledge the itch, but do not scratch it. Return to the task. This is the gym for your focus muscle. Each session makes it stronger. In this state of deep focus, you enter what psychologist Mihaly called flow state. Time distorts. Self-consciousness falls away. You become one with the task. This is not just productivity. This is a state of peak human experience and performance. The Stoics knew this state intimately. It is the practical application of being fully present and engaged with your duty. You are now moving from guarding energy to channeling it with immense power. Next, we will build the framework that makes this deep focus a permanent feature of your life, not just a sporadic event. You cannot rely on willpower alone to maintain focus. Willpower is a finite resource, like a muscle that gets tired. The key to unstoppable focus is to build structures, both internal and external, that make focus the default, easy choice. You must build fortresses to protect your attention. The Stoics were deeply practical. They knew that while you should be able to find peace in a storm, it is wiser to avoid the storm altogether if you can. This is the concept of designing your environment for success. Epictetus said, "The first and greatest task of the philosopher is to test and separate appearances, and to act on nothing that is untested." Let's apply this to your environment. Test the appearances of your distractions. Your phone, it appears to be a tool for connection. Test it. Is it more often a tool for distraction? The notification is an appearance that something is important. Test it. Is it your workspace? It appears to be a place of work. Test it. Is it cluttered with visual distractions that pull your focus? Your schedule, it appears to be full. Test it. Is it full of reactive tasks or proactive, meaningful work? Your environment is constantly voting on your behavior. A phone on your desk is voting for you to pick it up. A cluttered browser is voting for you to get lost down a rabbit hole. A noisy workspace is voting for you to lose focus. You must campaign harder. You must rig the election in favor of your focus. How to build your focus fortress. 1. The physical environment. Phone. This is the chief invader. During focus blocks, it must be out of sight and out of reach. Use apps that block social media and other distracting sites during work hours. Workspace. Create a clean, minimalist workspace. Every item on your desk should have a purpose. Visual clutter is cognitive clutter. Sound. Use noise-canceling headphones. Listen to ambient sound, brown noise, or instrumental music. This creates an auditory bubble against the outside world. 2. The digital environment, browser. Use a browser extension that limits you to a single tab or a set of pre-approved work-only sites during focus time. Notifications, this is critical. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Every ping is a tiny assassination attempt on your focus. You decide when to check your email and messages, not your phone. 3. The temporal environment. Your schedule, time blocking. This is the ultimate Stoic practice for the modern world. You don't just have a to-do list, you have a schedule. You assign specific tasks to specific times. This eliminates the daily question of, what should I do now? Which is a massive source of distraction and decision fatigue. Your schedule becomes your guide. As Marcus Aurelius said, we must do what our nature requires, and for a working professional that means having a clear plan for the day. The Stoic morning routine, how you start your day sets the tone. The Stoics practiced morning meditation, premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils, not to be negative, but to rehearse potential challenges and solidify their purpose. Your version could be 10 minutes of silence meditation, 10 minutes of reading, e.g. meditations, 10 minutes of planning your day and identifying your one thing. This grounds you before the world has a chance to pull you in different directions. Focus is not something you find. It is something you build. It is a structure made of habits, environment, and intention. By building these fortresses, you make it easy to be focused and difficult to be distracted. You are no longer fighting against the current. You have built a channel that directs the water exactly where you want it to go. You are now silent, you are focused, you have conserved energy, and you are channeling it with precision. Now we arrive at the final pillar, turning this potent combination into tangible, undeniable victory. We have arrived at the final pillar, victory. But we must immediately dismantle the common understanding of this word. The world tells you victory is external. Beat your competition, get the promotion, buy the car, gain the followers, win the argument. The Stoics offer a radical, game-changing redefinition. True victory is internal. It is the alignment of your actions with your character and virtues. It is the unwavering knowledge that you gave your best effort, regardless of the external outcome. It is the peace that comes from knowing you acted with courage, justice, wisdom, and self-discipline. Why is this so powerful? Because external outcomes are not entirely within your control. You can train perfectly and still lose the race if someone else trains better. You can give a perfect presentation and not get the client if their budget is cut. You can be the best partner and still be left. If you tie your sense of victory to these external fickle outcomes, you set yourself up for a life of anxiety and frustration. You hand the keys to your self-worth to the world, and the world is a reckless driver. The Stoic archer provides the perfect metaphor. A Stoic archer's goal is to shoot the best shot they can. They will practice diligently, focus intently, choose the best arrow, draw the bow with perfect form, and release with clarity. That is their victory. Whether the arrow hits the bullseye or is blown off course by a sudden gust of wind is not their victory or their defeat. It is an external event. Their victory was already achieved in the quality of their process. This is the core of amor fati, the love of one's fate. It is to embrace everything that happens, not because it is all good, but because it is all part of the material of your life. The wind that blows your arrow off course is not your enemy. It is simply the wind. You learn from it, you adjust for it, and you shoot again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. Action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacle is not a detour from the path, it is the path. Your victory lies in how you navigate it, therefore your primary metric for success shifts. It is no longer, see, did I win, but did I act with excellence? See, did I get the result? But was my process virtuous? See, but what did I achieve? But who did I become in the process? When you make this mental shift, a profound change occurs. The pressure vanishes, the fear of failure dissipates. You are free to perform at your highest level because you are no longer attached to an outcome you can't fully control. You become relentless because a loss is just feedback, not a definition of your worth. This is how you become truly unstoppable. You cannot be stopped by external circumstances because your victory was never dependent on them in the first place. Your victory is now inevitable because it is defined by the one thing you can always control: your own effort, your own intention, your own character. In the next chapter, we will operationalize this into a daily practice of relentless action. Internal victory is the foundation, but it is not an excuse for inaction. The Stoics were men and women of profound action. Their philosophy was a call to duty, to engagement, to contributing to the common good. Your internal victory, your commitment to virtue and excellence, must be expressed through relentless, consistent external action. This is where the magic of compounding comes in. We often think of compounding in finance, but it applies to every aspect of your life. Tiny, seemingly insignificant actions repeated consistently over time yield monumental results. Writing 1 page a day seems insignificant. Do it for a year and you have a 65-page book because saving 20 tiny a day seems insignificant. Do it for 40 years and you have a retirement fund. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes a day seems insignificant. Do it for 5 years and you become a master. The Stoic focus on the present moment is the key to unlocking compounding. Most people are so focused on the massive distant goal that they become overwhelmed and quit. The Stoic focuses only on the next right action, the next rep, the next page, the next conversation, the next small act of integrity. As Seneca advised, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. You must fall in love with the process of beginning again every single day. You must show up and do the work, not when you feel motivated, but because it is who you are. It is your nature, your duty. This is the fusion of all three pillars. Zyant the Ravier's silence protects the energy needed for this consistent action. Your focus directs that energy into the single most important task. Your redefined sense of victory, doing the task with excellence, provides the motivation and removes the fear that would otherwise cause you to quit. You are no longer on an emotional roller coaster. You are a machine of consistent, virtuous action. You are not chasing a result. You are building a result, brick by daily brick. The world will not see this process. The world only sees the outcome. They will see the book published, the business launched, the body transformed, and call it an overnight success. They will not see the thousands of silent, focused hours that built it. They will not see the daily victories over distraction, over laziness, over fear. Your job is not to correct them. Your job is to continue building. Your victory was inevitable the moment you committed to the process, because the process practiced with excellence is the victory. The outcome is simply a byproduct. We have traveled a great distance together. We began in the storm of modern noise and distraction. We learned that the way out is not to fight the storm, but to find the stillness within it. We discovered that strategic silence is the practice of guarding our sovereign energy from the countless forces vying to steal it. With that energy preserved, we learned to forge it into a weapon of immense power through unbreakable focus. We dismantled the myth of multitasking and built fortresses of habit and environment to protect our attention, allowing us to channel our efforts into the one thing that matters most. Finally, we redefined victory itself. We shifted from a fragile dependence on external outcomes to an unshakable internal code of excellence. We learned to love the process, to embrace obstacles as the path, and to take relentless, compounding action every single day. This is the unbreakable code of the Stoic silence. Focus. Victory. This is not a list of 3 separate tips. It is a synergistic system. Each pillar supports and enhances the others. Silence fuels focus. Focus enables victory. Victory validates the power of silence. This is how you become unstoppable. Not because you never face setbacks, but because setbacks cannot stop you. Not because you never feel fear, but because you act with courage despite it. Not because you are perfect, but because you are committed to the daily practice of being better than you were yesterday. You now have the map. You have the tools. The journey is yours to walk. It begins with your next choice. Will you check your phone, or will you guard your silence? Will you scatter your attention, or will you focus on one thing? Will you fear an outcome, or will you find victory in the effort itself? The world needs more people who are silent, focused, and victorious. The world needs you operating at your full potential. Choose to become unstoppable. If this philosophy resonates with you, if you are ready to commit to this path, here is how you can go deeper. 1. Engage. The first step in any journey is declaration. Drop a comment below and commit to one of these principles. Tell me, I will guard my silence, I will protect my focus, or my victory is internal. This public commitment solidifies your intent. 2. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is dedicated to providing you with weekly deep dives into Stoic wisdom and practical strategies for modern life. This is not just content, it is ongoing training. 3. Share. Share this video with one person you know who is tired of the noise and ready to find a better way. Build a community of like-minded individuals on the path to mastery. 4. Practice. Your journey starts not tomorrow, but right now. In your next interaction, practice a moment of strategic silence. In your next work session, implement a 90-minute focus block. Redefine your success for today, not by what you crossed off a list, but by the quality of your effort. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to your own growth. Remember the code. Stay silent, stay focused, stay victorious. I will see you in the next video.